And so there's just a lot of stuff going on that's really exciting.
Absolutely. Of course, on the opposite end of what we think of as Myrtle Beach, the Grand Dunes, that has really turned out to be a juggernaut for the area.
Grand Dunes goes from the ocean across the waterway. You have hotel and residential units on the ocean.
Right.
On the waterway, the Marina Inn and the marina itself. And then beyond that is golf course and residential. All that is inside the city.
All of it?
All of it's inside the city. As it goes down the bypass towards 62nd, all of that is a part of the Grand Dunes master planning effort. Right now, the work is being done all at the marina, getting a building ready for Ruth Chris's Steakhouse. Across bypass from that, Lowe's food store is going to go in, sort of a fresh market kind of food store.
Yeah.
There is some activity going on the oceanfront still with some residential. And then ultimately all that will fill in with condominiums, both rentals and residential, some additional commercial. We're going to landscape Kings Highway and landscape the bypass. Burroughs and Chapin and the city are jointly planning those improvements to the roadways there. So a lot of stuff, good stuff going on up there as well. So we got bookends of great development on the city of Myrtle Beach.
Yes, very definitely. Throughout the city, so much happening. Diane Devon Stokes was with us a couple weeks ago talking about still the real cultural push and a lot happening within the city. Even before that, the week before, Charles Jones Evans was with us, just thinking about the significance of the Long Bay Symphony and the opportunities there at the Myrtle Beach High School, the Performing Arts Center there, just everything that keeps the Myrtle Beach name on it. It seems to remain very really keeping an up-tempo, upbeat atmosphere. It's
we get knocked a lot for not having culture, but we really do. If you stop and think about all that we have in Myrtle Beach, we have a number of cultural opportunities and activities that go on, much more than what a normal 25,000 population city would have.
That's right. That's right. How about yourself, Tom? We think about this position as city manager. Has that changed over the last 20 years, that role as city manager? You really act as the chief executive officer for the city, and we think about, of course, mayors like Mayor Riley down in Charleston, who's kind of a chief executive officer of a sort. He runs that city. This is a little different form of government in the city of Myrtle Beach.
We are both chief executive officers, Mayor Riley and I. He is elected. I'm appointed. There are three forms of government in South Carolina: the strong mayor, the manager, and the council form of government. Conway and Surfside are the council forms of government. They have an administrator. Slight differences in statutory power between a manager and administrator, but a lot of it really revolves around the psychology of the people involved and how they get along and how they work together. The comfort level that a council may have with the person in charge. But I'm the chief executive officer. City council really sets the vision and the policy for the city. It's my job to advise them on those things, but it's my job, once they decide where they want to go, my job is to try to get them there.
To execute that.
City has about 800 employees. Our budget is about $130 million a year. When I first became city manager, we had $25 million and probably 200 employees. So we've grown as the area has grown.
Trifold over the 20 years.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is. It's something you stop to look at it and say, wow, I can't believe that.
I think for you over those 20, of course you've been here 22 years, but over the 20 years, some of the big, obviously we're talking about Grand Dunes and the Market Common and the entire area, the former Air Force Base. There's a heck of a lot of other big things over that 20 years that have happened within the city. What are some that really stick out in your mind?
Well, in terms of the big things, obviously the Broadway at the beach.
Right.
At one time, that whole area was a pine forest planted by the company years ago to harvest at some point.
Right.
It really was country out there. There was a time when the bypass wasn't even there. So, but Broadway at the beach, probably in terms of big things happening, certainly stick out in my mind. The loss of the pavilion is certainly a big thing. Loss of the mall. Replacement by the Grand Dunes Mall, Coastal Ground Mall.
Right.
Those are big things. But a lot of little things have happened, too, that I think are probably equally as important, and that is the neighborhoods. Myrtle Beach is a population of 25,000, was in 1985, 87, still is today.
Still is, right.
But it's important that those 25,000 residents have a voice and a say in what amounts to a business town. And so a lot of work has been done by the city and by residents in the neighborhoods to try to organize them into associations and hear from them on what they want Myrtle Beach to be, in addition to hearing from the Chamber and the Hospitality Association and all of that, trying to strike that balance between residential and business. I mean, we are a tourist town.
Right.
And our residents get a lot of benefit out of that. Lower taxes, a lot of things in terms of amenities they wouldn't ordinarily get. But it's still their home. And so there's a real balance that we strike there. And we've done a lot to keep that balance that we're awfully proud of.
Residents' biggest voice are the 7 council members, and obviously working through a lot of committees and administration bodies like the Community Appearance Board, lots of boards in the area that really make a difference.
A lot of boards in the area. We want people to be involved. When we have when the planning staff goes out and holds neighborhood meetings or comprehensive planning meetings, we really want people to come and take part in that. Tell us what they want this city to be from a business perspective and a residential perspective. We don't have all the answers. Together we can work to find the answers and some solutions to their problems. Well, we need that involvement, and we welcome that.
Whispering Pines Golf Course, a magnificent golf course right in the heart of Myrtle Beach, essentially on the south end, but still the heart. It's a city-owned golf course, I believe.
City-owned golf course. We got that from the Air Force when the base closed.
Right.
And have run that in a way to give locals discounting in fees and also tee times. We don't book tee times more than 7 days out for the majority of the tee times available. So you have an opportunity to decide sort of late in the game, y'all want to go play golf this Friday, you can get a tee time. And it's a lot cheaper than a commercial course would charge a local resident.
Right.
And in a way to show that course off, the mayor has a Mayor's Cup, which is coming up very shortly.
Next weekend, that's right.
Next weekend, October 12th. I think 11th, 12th, and 13th, or 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Right. 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Right. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's a men's tournament. It has a seniors division as a part of that. We also have a ladies tournament coming up in November.
11th of November.
Right. It's not a captain's choice. It's a lowest.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
Lowest score wins the game.
Yeah.
And but it's a way for us to connect back to the community vis-a-vis golf, and it's also a way for us to showcase the golf course that we own.
Oh yeah. I think you said the cutoff next Wednesday for the men's tournament.
Yes, sir.
And that folks needed a call. Was it 918-2305?
That's Whispering Pines Golf Course number. Right. Call them, get an entry form, and enjoy 3 days of golf.
Absolutely. And of course, if a viewer wanted to call and learn more about the city, I think there's a main phone number.
Main number is 918-1000.
Okay. And there's a vibrant website as well that's constantly up to date. Mark Crua, and I don't know who else works on that, but the
mainly Mark.
Is that right? CityMyrtleBeach.com. He was with us a couple months ago and highlighting some of the fascinating questions that come in, emails that come in, obviously about the weather and where should I stay, stuff like that. He
gets all kinds of questions.
He does.
He really does.
Yeah. He sends out some great stuff to keep the media informed as well locally, and does a crackerjack job as the public information officer. He really does.
He does a great job.
We think about so many other things, and we filmed at the Myrtle Beach Train Depot a couple of months ago. Richard Kirby did the little openings every morning, but to think about a centerpiece like that as well, not far from City Hall and from the center of operations.
That's a great venue to have wedding receptions, meetings, what have you. It really gets a lot of use. It's a beautiful building. The staff that helps the events take place there, Richard Kirby and the staff, really do a great job in trying to help people set up, and so we're real proud of that. That was a combination of local and city and state pulling together and pulling resources and money together from all sectors to save that building, and now we have a great place to have any kind of event, really.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All this activity with 800 folks, Tom, in the city, how do you have time to slow down? What do you do for enjoyment? Do you do anything to Or are you just constantly working in the city?
No, I've slowed down a lot. I've got great people that work with me, and they do most of the work. I have a hobby. Kathy Chrisman, who is my fiance, she and I bought a 36-foot trawler, wooden trawler, 1972.
No.
And we spend a lot of time on that boat, a lot of time chasing rot as we move around the boat. It's sort of a constant, upkeep scenario or replacing things but we both love to do that, and that really is a way for us to relax. We love it.
It sounds very cathartic. That's wonderful. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed it.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Myrtle Beach's city manager, Tom Leath, coming up next. Three great words. First in service. First in service. The city, you heard Tom talk about it. Weren't those great words? 20 years ago when he arrived, a little more than 20 years ago, city population around 25,000. What's it today? Around 25,000. First in service, really making a name for itself all over the state, day in and day out, all over the nation, all over the world. The city of Myrtle Beach, what a special place. Think about it for Tom, 22 years ago, arriving as the assistant city attorney, a year later the assistant city manager, and then next month celebrating 20 years as a city manager, this special city, the city of Myrtle Beach. It'll be highlighted next weekend in a golf tournament, the Mayor's Cup golf tournament. The men will be playing next weekend. You can sign up online, go online, citymyrtlebeach.com to learn more about it. You can call the 918-2305, 918-2305 right there to Whispering Pines Golf Course. That's next Wednesday is the cutoff. The tournament's that weekend. And then obviously the excitement a month later for the women's side. A lot happening in the city, day in and day out. Folks like Tom and so many, you heard him talk. The credit's not going to him. It's to the 800-plus folks within the city of Myrtle Beach, the employees of the city, that every day are making a difference for these 25,000 residents and the many millions of visitors that come here every year. First in service.